In the previous video, I highlighted how to basically scale an analog input, from a PT100, just as an example, analog value. And what I want to do here is take the library and show how it can actually be used in the Android space and not just kind of on a Windows PC based application. So just to give a very quick demo, I have an Android app here, and this can be downloaded on the on through the Play Store. And basically what happens here is that just to give a demo of it, if I hit monitor there, then I hit record. This is an example of a kind of a finished application where I'm actually reading the live value from a PT100 right now, wired up to an S7 PLC. So essentially, I'm going to cover that now. And if you're looking for it on the App Store, it's down as App S7 IoT. Okay, so next step now is I'm going to open up Visual Studio, and I'm going to open up TIA, and I'll just explain things just a little further. The best place to start anyway is in Visual Studio. So in Visual Studio, if you see my screen here, you can see that there is a project, and we have the App S7 library inside the project. And basically this is a Xamarin project. Anyone who's familiar with Xamarin or Android applications, they'll be familiar enough with the structure that's involved. So in this application, it's quite simple as a kind of a proof of concept. What I'm doing is I'm retrieving out an analog value from the PLC, and then I'm using a kind of a standard a SQL insert. I'm using this with SQLite, and if I go back up to the references, you'll see that there's actually a reference to SQLite. This project has been great for me, just by the way, just kind of as an offset, just to become so much more familiar with SQLite. So anyway, in terms of the application, I'm putting out the variables uh, in terms of the configuration, right, to go off and retrieve an analog input. Uh, you know, I'm storing those variables inside a SQLite database, and then I'm recording and trending to a SQLite database the analog value if I want. The best thing for me to do then is I'll just bring open the project in TIA. So what I'm going to do with the application is read this value here, this db1, dbd10. So any real value, essentially, that's what the application is going to go off and look at as a kind of a proof of concept. What's best to do is actually just give you a look at the application as it is installed on an Android tablet. So just to bring it back, basically, if you see here, it's called App S7 IoT. Oh, I'm after going off the wrong way there, sorry. So then it just opens up. This is kind of like a main menu screen that you have. First off, what you'll do is you'll just go into this kind of a settings menu. Here I put in my variable. It's actually very hard to see with the light, sorry, db1, db10. And then you put in the IP address of the S7, you put in the rack, you put in the slot. Sorry, it's really bad because of the light. You put in the slot here, it's number 2. I have a high limit and I have a low limit, and then I have a sampling rate essentially here. So what I'll do is I'll go into Monitor Live. And then if I just go into Monitor Live, you'll see some details that'll come up. This is going to reach out to the PLC, which is live. I have a PIT here, and I'm going to actually put it over. This is basically a cup of coffee, essentially. So it should actually go up in temperature now, and you'll see it just gradually begin to go up. And if we just see it says 837 up here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a trend tool. The trend screen, and you're going to be able to see a trend go up maybe over 5 minutes. So I'll just pause this video. Actually, no, what I'll do is I'll go straight to the trend screen, and we'll just take a look at 837. So we can just see this guy going up here, just based on this is actually heat coming up from this cup of coffee. It's actually gone high there. Okay, and I'll just stop that, and we'll just come back, and I'll just literally go into the trend history. And here we have a kind of a trend history screen where I can just select a from and a to. So we'll go into the 2, and I literally just go, yeah, up to 838. Go like that, and then we hit this button to bring it all up, and you can see a little trend go up, and it shows the minimum, it shows the maximum. So basically this application, I hope for anyone who sees it, will see that we just really have just a kind of a proof of concept. If I go back to Visual Studio again, essentially you'll see that in the previous video I had done an analog input read, and that was on a Windows-based PC, but this also then ports out over to the Android space as well, and it's just as effective. And I think realistically, if an application like this were to be used, essentially, I think that the application, if it had a practical use and if it were to be developed, it could be used mainly in a commissioning space. I think that's being kind of more real about it, where it would retrieve out from a historian such as, Prophecy Historian or Wonderer Historian or Pi or any of those at all. But hopefully for developers, they will take a look at it just to be able to see, look, you've got essentially of this another environment to think of, not just the Windows domain. Okay, thank you.